Hi, my name's Ian Hilton. I'm the CMD Colchester Area Advisor, and this short video is about the Learning Square. The Learning Square we're offering to you as a way of thinking about your developing relationship with your TI, training incumbent, over the 3 to 4 years that you'll be working with them, and how that might change over the time, and to give you a framework for understanding the changes that may happen. So I'm going to go over again to the share screen and onto a short PowerPoint slides to help us think this one through. So here we have the Learning Square, and I managed to draw a square on the page there, so I've done quite well to start off with. I want us to think about moving around that square in a clockwise direction. So we start in the top left-hand corner, and in that top left-hand corner, that's where we arrive in our curacy, and then as time goes by, we travel around the 4 sides, and eventually end up back where we started, but now as a fully competent, mature, incumbent-ready curate, ready to go out into the wider world. So to start with, we're moving along the top of the square. On that left-hand side is when you arrive as a curate. That's the D line that I've written there, D1. You started there and you've arrived, and you know that you can change the world. You're about to not only change the church where you are, but make a huge impact. You're high in confidence, just raring to go, ready to start. But the flip side of that is that actually your level of competency may or may not be that high. It depends what opportunities you've had before coming into this point of ministry. So many of us arrive not having had experience of funerals, of weddings, maybe limited experience in preaching or theological reflections, or all some of the other skills that we need to develop as a minister. And we're coming to a parish which may do things actually quite differently to how we've experienced it before. So in terms of our training incumbent, that's the L line, L1, they may at that first phase adopt a position of directive leadership. That is saying, actually, this is how it's done. Let me show you. You watch, and I will show you the way that we do things here, and help you to understand that and to grow into that. So I'll put right at the top there a sort of shorthand: I do, you watch. You watch me, this is the way we do things here. This is the line that we follow, directive leadership. We then move down the right-hand side of the square, and by the time you've reached this top corner, you may be more aware of your incompetence in some areas. You may have made some mistakes, not done things as well straight off as you expected to do, or found some of the changes quite difficult to work with, and maybe the enthusiasm levels have died a bit. It's a bit of a low point that we sometimes reach at that point in the curacy. And it's there that the leader needs to change their approach from being directive. It moves then, or should move, into more of a visionary coach mode. When you ask coaching questions, you don't tell people what the answer is or what they should do, but you ask the sort of questions that will enable them to discover for themselves what the way forward might be. What do you feel might enhance that thing that you do? What resources would you need to access? What help can you draw alongside you? What preparation might you need to do? Asking open-ended questions which help us to recapture some of the vision and some of the enthusiasm for ministry that we start with. So there should be a change in our training incumbents approach along that side of the square. Along the bottom of the square, we get, we're beginning really now to get to a really positive point in the curacy. So the curate D3, really growing in confidence, finding that suddenly all the bits are beginning to fall into place. Ministry is opening up in new and exciting ways, begin to feel more settled in the curacy. And also from the leader's point of view, they feel that they're working together as a team now, that there's a consensus in the way that they view the vision and development within the parish, and there's a commonality to the way that you begin to work together. And then finally, on that final run-in, D4, the end is in sight. You're getting DMOB happy. You're beginning to strain at the bit. You reckon that actually you're ready for whatever the next stage may hold. And from the leader's point of view, that's the best bit of leadership, I think. It's where you can move from being a teacher to being a partner, where there can be mutual learning together. I've learned such a lot from the curate colleagues I've worked with, and they've offered me as much, I think, in all sorts of ways as I've been able to offer them. So it becomes much more of that sense of partnership, and also there's a trust level that's built up. So as a leader, I would know that I could delegate something completely to my curate colleague, and they would just get on with it, and they would develop it, and they would grow it, and I can just rest in that. So that is the place that we're sort of really aiming for, and when we get there, we know that we're ready for the next step, whatever that may be. So that's just a quick recap of the square. Moving round in that clockwise direction, and moving from high confidence but maybe incompetent skills all the way through to that delegated partnership where your colleagues together and working very much in tandem and positively supporting one another. So that's the process that we see opening up, and we would expect your relationship with your training incumbent to change in those subtle ways as you move round that square. Just a final slide, just a couple of questions really. Questions for you. In this sort of relationship, which of those modes in terms of working with your training incumbents would you most naturally be at ease at, and can you envisage places where blocks might occur and how they might be overcome?